Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. We are doing another supporter stream, and if I can find my web browser view, we got Brian on for now, and I'm sure someone else will probably be jumping on a little bit later as well. But we're going to go ahead and give it a few minutes. I know Vince usually jumps on a few minutes late, so we'll see if he jumps on or if we hear anything from him. And man, everyone's quiet on my end so far. I'm going to switch over to live chat there, see if anyone else jumps on. But hello, everybody. No one's saying anything. I can't say hello to everybody. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing okay.
All
I'm doing
right.
okay.
How's the, let's see, we're in, man, oh, I'm so glad I'm not in academics anymore. It's early in the semester. So how's the semester going? What are you teaching right
Well,
now?
it's about between a quarter and a third of the way through, and I think we're like on week five. Yeah, about week five-ish, give or take.
Yeah.
And it's going in my computer hardware class. We did memory this week, and in Linux, we're starting to get
Mm.
into some of the meat of things now.
Hmm.
Covering different distros. We were talking about MX Linux a little bit earlier
Nice.
today and,
Cool.
talking about different things. But I actually posted a new video on my channel on multi booting. So
Ooh, is
that's
that a
interesting.
public video?
Yeah, that's a public video. I
Okay.
haven't done a public video in about a year, maybe a little over a year, because I had to develop videos for an operating systems course I'm teaching.
Right.
And those videos use proprietary PowerPoints that I was mandated on using. So they had to be unlisted. But that course is fully developed now. So now I'm back to hopefully making public
Mhm.
videos again.
Yeah, so I just put the link there for that video here in the chats if you guys want to check out
Oh,
that
okay.
video. That's on multi
Thank you.
booting. Very cool, very cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
So we got Phantom Foreskin on. Oh man,
Oh,
how's it
wow.
going? Ransomware is the perfect crime. Yeah, it's like where else do we get a crime where you commit your crime and then the insurance companies negotiate to pay you? Maybe we need to rethink this paying the ransomware guys. You know, Simple Tech Walmart did not have your headset. Oh, that's a bummer. SUT3, how's it going there? Greetings, Mr. Anderson. How's it going, Mr. Anderson? Leonard, hello there. And Larry Johnson, hello, Larry. Let's see. Bored with indecision. I don't know what to do. Going to get out the calculator. Well, just decide to do something and do it, I guess. Hello, Ben. How's it going? All right. And let's see. I'm on Manjaro now, trying out Free Office. Wanted to give it a try. All right. Very cool. Very cool indeed. I find it funny that Free Office is not really free. It's kind of goofy. Did you follow that Manjaro debacle, Brian?
No, what's going on with
So
Manjaro?
they were originally going to pull LibreOffice entirely out of it and just go with FreeOffice, which is actually not FOSS software. And
Hmm.
it
Oh
caused a
boy.
giant uproar, rightly so. And so now they have kept it in the repos. I'm not sure if they were going to take it out of the repos entirely or if they were just not going to just not install it and just install the free office instead, which is it's not FOSS software. And LibreOffice is not limited in anything. And so it did cause enough
Mm-hmm.
controversy that now when you install Manjaro, you have the choice of no Office software, free Office, or LibreOffice. So
Hmm.
fortunately, they did listen to the people. So and
That's good.
we have more
That's good.
options now. I'm okay with more options, even if some are not necessarily the best FOSS software. That's okay. Hey, options are okay. Just don't force me to do stuff. So
Right. As long as you have the
yeah.
option.
Yeah, so that was kind of at the center of the Microsoft thing. I think I might, if I get the chance, I think I might actually release a video tomorrow on this Microsoft debacle because it kind of was a big thing where a whole lot of articles came out this week and like Microsoft removes the option to have a local account. And I
Hmm.
had to scratch my head and look and look and relook and relook and relook. So, what actually happened there, for those that are not following along, is the 2018, the October 2018, which is a year ago, if you were connected to an internet connection on install, it hid the option. It was still there if you knew where to wiggle your mouse, I believe. I'm actually going to download a copy and look at it exactly. That caused a little bit of an outroar. I don't know why the articles just came out this week, because the next version, which was the May 2009, rolled out. Now you can see how that install looks on Chris Titus Tech's video on it that he released, I think, today. And they make it annoying to create the local account, but it's certainly an option that's there. And so there was some early controversy with that, where it was harder to get. It was harder to um, it was harder to install because it really wanted to push you down that Microsoft account. So I have no earthly idea why those articles came out, but I don't know.
Microsoft is unbelievable with their
Yeah,
Microsoft accounts and everything going
yeah,
subscription and everything
but I
else.
have to sit with them and say, no, guys, they did not remove the option to do the local account. So, and
They
I just
just
don't.
hid it.
It's baffling to me why these articles just came out literally like this week. I have no idea why.
Yeah,
And then one of them did it, and so then everybody had to do it. And then I was thinking, should I do a video on it too? And I'm like, no. Uh, here's my
that's the
video
way it
here.
is.
You know.
Yeah, one person comes out with a video on something, everyone
Yeah.
else follows.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the big tech journals though. I think Pizza sent it to me on what, CDNet. I think. What did Pizza send me the link to? ZDNet. Pizza sent it to me, but then I saw a similar one on all of the big ones as well. This is weird. I don't know. But anyway, Mitchell jumped on. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Greg Gasper. Greetings. Hearts says make the jump to AOI RIM, or at least Big Boy plan for SolarWinds take control. Okay. Uh, yeah, I have two clients that I'm not sure. I don't know. Two clients I'm not sure about, but we'll see. Random question about tech security. What thoughts might you share about SIM jacking? How worried are you about it? Yeah, what did you have you looked into the SIM jacking stuff at all, Brian?
A little bit.
What are your thoughts?
It's uh, well, depending on whether you have a phone number for your your backing up your passwords or not or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't do that because I'm
Yeah,
afraid of stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, that makes you more vulnerable.
yeah.
But I mean, some people like it. Again, it's a convenience versus an absolute security.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is strange is the way the big companies are sort of not the big company, well, the big companies, but also the providers of these different accounts. They try to market it as making your stuff more secure
Mm-hmm.
instead of just more convenient,
Yeah,
and
and
it
the
makes
fact
it
is, the SIM putting a SIM text message number on your account makes your account infinitely less secure.
right.
And
That's the point.
yeah,
It
yeah,
makes it easier for you in the event that you need to go to a backup plan, but it decreases the level of security
mhm,
immensely.
yeah,
It doesn't increase it at all. But if you listen to the way the companies talk, they're trying to make it seem like it increases the security.
yeah, correct. And
And it,
it's
it
really
doesn't.
I have a, where's my tinfoil hat? But I have a conspiracy theory that it's just them trying to connect everybody via a single portal to connect, know exactly who everybody is based on their phone number. Because at this
Mm-hmm.
point in time, everybody has a phone number and nobody seems too leery about handing it out. Asking for the social
Yeah.
security number, people still now. I mean, I'd like to believe some people a little bit more leery about it, but not really. But all that being said, me personally, I'm not worried about it. I don't have anything attached to a text messaging at all. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have all of your accounts, your banks, your Google accounts, all these things attached to it, I would be concerned about it. I think it is
Right.
a concern. So got
I'm
to be
very
careful.
concerned. I mean, I only text, three people, so I
Yeah.
do very, very, very little texting.
Yep.
Maybe I text 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't do texting, and I don't have any phone numbers on any bank, nothing. Not my Amazon, no accounts
Yeah.
because I'm paranoid about it. Like you
Uh,
said, they use that as another variable in the equation that once they know what it is, they could put the pieces together and de-anonymize a lot of data. They just need a common piece to stick in there. So
yeah.
you give them your phone number, they get that on enough people, and with all the other data they have, they could figure out who everybody is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it kind of renders a lot of the stuff that we're trying to do useless.
Yeah. All right. So Vince will be out. Daughter's still sick. So get well, Vince's daughter. So he'll be out. Let's do one more quick question, just because it should be quick. Somebody says, "What's the alternative of IIS, Microsoft for Linux distro? Any Linux distro?" I usually, personally, if I'm setting up a server, I either run Debian or Ubuntu servers. If you're like more commercial things, CentOS is probably the bulletproof standard. So any of those, they all are much the same. I personally, when I'm building a server myself, I use Debian or Ubuntu just because I'm just too used to Debian. So versus CentOS has slightly different command base that I'm not as familiar with. I don't know where everything is off the top of my head like I do in Debian, but so yeah, I mean literally because like the web is run by Apache servers. Apache, there's Nginx as well, but I think Apache is probably your better bet to go. That's my thought. I don't know if you have any thoughts there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that from my
And
experience.
let's go ahead and get on into our topic with this comment here from BuddyTube. Thank you for this one. They should make it a crime in any country around the world to pay ransomware fees. It should be huge fine and jail, and that will become ransomware to become extinct. I agree. Except for the people wanting to just see the world burn. So what do you think? Is would that demotivate it, or would that just would that not have much impact? What do you think about that on ransomware?
Hmm, good question. A lot of things they should work out one way, but they don't because of human nature being what it is. So I wonder if that would make some people all the more likely to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you would definitely get rid of the ransomware for profit, but you would not get rid of the people that just want to destroy stuff. Um,
Yes.
which it'd be kind of ransomware, more like, ha ha ha, we got you, neener neener. And I don't think we'll be any better off, really.
But those
Have a
people,
backup
even if
plan.
you pay even if you pay the ransom, a lot of times you don't get your
Yeah.
stuff decrypted anyway.
And we had an update from last week, but we'll cover that at the end instead, since we are already about 15 minutes in and haven't hit our topic yet. But let's go ahead and jump on over to our topic. And so we are looking at this Ars Technica article. I don't know. Whatever. Ransomware forces. Now it says 3 hospitals. No, it was 7. It was 3 in the United States and 7 in Australia. Sorry, Vince. I was hoping you could jump on and talk about the Australia, but you can leave us comments. So ransomware forces 3 hospitals to turn away all but the most critical patients. So, and quote, a criminal is limiting our ability to use our computer system. So what, do these people not know how to practice medicine anymore? So Brian, as a doctor's perspective, how important is your computer system at your hospital? How important should it be? What's your overall thoughts here?
Well, unfortunately, it's a lot more important than I think it should be. And this is where it's really strange for me, being both a computer professor and a practicing physician, because I don't think the way people think I should think. Because you would think with a background like that your average person would think that I ought to be really super into computers and
Mm-hmm.
think we ought to be bringing them in and using them for everything. But to the
I
contrary, in a lot of ways, I think we're overusing them. We're using them when we don't need to use them. And that's taking away from the practice of medicine. We're letting
yeah.
computers run the doctor rather than letting the computers be a tool to be used by the doctor. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, hospitals today, if you shut down their computer, they're crippled. They
Yep.
can't do anything. The pharmacies are all done by computer. Medications are done by computers. Blood labs, respiratory labs, um, imaging studies, even simple x-rays these days. Everything is digital and it goes over the network. You don't have any radiologists in the hospitals anymore because all the radiologists are reading the films on monitors from home over an internet connection. It's
Now, are
like
they
the
in China or India or United States when they're doing that?
all different places. Depends on the hospital you're at. Literally.
Enjoy.
Well, it's sad, but it's actually literally true. Some hospitals, I know they're in the United States, but some hospitals, they are in India and China. And, we don't get to hear the radiologists most of the time because all we do is we read their dictated reports. So we can't
Mm-hmm.
read if there's, accents or whatever.
Yep.
But the modern hospital, without their computer systems, is absolutely dead in the water.
Mm. And it
Now, that
shouldn't
doesn't
be.
have to be because you go back 100 years, 50 years, hospitals ran just fine before computers were ever invented. So when they
Correct.
brought computers out into the medical field, what they should have done was built up an infrastructure of computers as an adjunct to the manual records they had, but kept
Mm-hmm.
what they had as a backup.
Yeah.
But they were so sold on computers and had this ridiculous notion computers never make a mistake, computers are perfect, blah, 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 that they got rid of their prior manual methods. So
Mm-hmm.
now they can't do anything without a computer to
Yeah.
do it for them. They can't do
Yeah.
chart notes manually. They can't do blood labs manually. They can't do nothing. The
Yeah.
computers do it all. And that could be
So
a real problem.
yeah. So my mother is probably the most inept person I've ever seen at computers. Literally, last time I was over there, I had to remind her, how do you delete an email?
Mm-hmm.
You click it and push the button that says delete. Where's the button that says delete? It's one of three keys on the keyboard that actually has words on it.
Right.
I mean, literally, my mother is that bad with computers. Well, she works in a hospital and she's there and their computers go down. Well, my mother is the only person there who actually knows how to pass meds and read a chart
Mm.
as a
Okay,
nurse.
that's good.
So on her shift, people got their medication. But as a doctor, how important is it that you get your medication?
Very
Yeah,
important.
this shouldn't even be a question we have to ask, but
Mm-hmm.
and there's medications that you could be prescribed that if you miss a dose could be seriously problematic.
Mm-hmm. There's
And
quite a few medications like
yeah,
that.
and so if you're not on the dose, and so when these things go down and people do not know how, so one of the comments that somebody said actually at the bottom, this guy says, so I agree with Ready Load's comments. Of course, as Rodney WS comes in as the veteran hospital IT guy, and I understand what both of them are saying, but frankly, if I go into a hospital, people should be able to function competently without the aid of a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
he writes, sad state of affairs when you cannot pull out a pencil and legal pad and take down information from someone who's sick or dying and enter it into a computer later on.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who worked in the IT department for 9 years at a hospital, he says, well, there's a lot more going on, which is true. And this is why I agree with both of the things. And, he says patients would have a barcode on their arm when all medicines would be scanned. The computer system would check the patient's known allergies against the list of components of the medicine about to be administered. Okay, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I don't necessarily, I understand the argument he's making, but this should be something that you check the first time the medicine is going to be administered and you should have the okay. You shouldn't have to have your wrist bracelet scanned every single time to make sure there's no allergy to the medication you're about to give. It's not like you're going in and giving random drugs to people. Does he have a point in this rebuttal, or is this insane? What's your thought about this? Patients would
Well,
check. Okay, go ahead.
assuming the medicine is the correct medicine, you should only have to do it the first time. The problem comes in to make sure that the medicine they're giving is actually the right medicine. Because what they do a lot of times is they scan the barcode on the medicine, they scan the barcode on the patient, and then the computer double checks to see that the medicine they're about to give is actually the medicine that the patient is supposed to get.
Yeah.
So that you would have to do every single time to make sure that the person in the pharmacy grabbed the right vial. Because if you grab the wrong vial, it would pick it up. But assuming the pharmacist doesn't make mistakes and grabs the right vial, you should only need to do it that one time when the initial order is given.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, where my mind is going is like my mother works in a TCU unit, so they're doing med rounds every 6 hours or whatever, and so the med cart, the computer's down, the med cart doesn't dispense stuff, and I think that where I see this going, this over reliance is you just grab whatever the cart gave and just administer it, and you're not really paying much attention anymore. And I think that that right there completely violates the purpose of the doctor or the nurse or whoever's in charge here. You should have the competency and the habit and the practice of double checking. What if somebody just threw the thing into the wrong slot or whatever else,
Right.
And then you're just not even looking, and you give somebody the wrong medicine because you're just over relying on what the computer said without double checking yourself.
Right, and that's a big problem because I think if you remember, I mentioned, I forget how many weeks ago it was, on one of the streams that a report just came out that electronic health record systems increase malpractice lawsuits. And the reason for that is they create more malpractice because of a similar deal to what you're saying. They have a thing in electronic health records called autocomplete. Okay, a lot of drugs have very similar names and they start out with the same name, but then it's different. It like Lactamil and Lamisil, for example. They're two very different medications, but they sound very much alike. A lot of times on the initial entry, it'll go in and it'll be auto-corrected by the computer to the incorrect drug. And then on later visits, no one, notices there's a mistake. They just give out what the computer says, which, guess what? It's the wrong drug. A lot of times, also, a drug is in there that a patient's on. The patient will be taken off the drug by another doctor. Dr. X gives a drug. Dr. Y takes him off the drug. Patient goes back to Dr. X. Dr. X's computer was never updated. Dr. X gives him an injection of the drug. Dr. Y took him off. And another issue like that would be dosages, where the dosage is adjusted and it's adjusted either incorrectly, or the doctor goes to put it, or the nurse or whoever goes to put in 50 milligrams. They hit an extra 500 milligrams. No one bothers to check. The error gets propagated through. Okay. Another issue is the infamous, as we know it in the medical field, the infamous cut and paste, where a doctor will literally cut and paste from one chart note to the next. And when he gets and sees the patient, it turns out that the problem the patient's in for this time is a completely different problem, but he's being treated for the problem he had 3 months ago because the chart was cut and pasted. So there's this whole host of ways that exactly what you said, over-reliance on the computer software completely neutralizes the human factor. And rather than being treated by the doctor, the person's being treated by the computer. And unfortunately, a lot of times, garbage in, garbage out, the patient gets treated incorrectly by the computer. Who gets blamed? The doctor. Try suing a computer.
Yeah.
And ultimately...
Yeah, that's what Vince says here, blaming the computer. If and when a mistake occurs, it's difficult to defend. You always need to double check. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's why I don't rely on electronic health records at all. Zero. I have my own version of electronic records, but it's basically computer aided paperwork, so to speak. But I do everything manually, personally, myself. Everything is in house and nothing goes anywhere. And I always check and verify. And that's only after I see the patient. When I see a patient, my computer isn't even turned on. And I focus 100% on the patient. Then when all the patients are done, I take my handwritten notes, and it's only then that I start typing things into the computer. By then, all the patients are already finished.
Yeah.
Because believe me, a computer can be one big distraction, and it can take you down the entirely wrong path if you're not careful.
I'm looking at see if there's anything else in here. So criminals limiting our ability to use our computer systems in exchange for an as yet unknown payment. Our hospitals have implemented our emergency procedures to ensure safe and efficient operations in the event technology dependent on computers is not available. I would say, though, they're not really doing safe and effective operations if they have to turn people away. That's my thought. So
no, because if a hospital had proper manual backups, they'd be able to see patients while the computers were down using the manual backups, and then just update the computers when they came back up.
Yeah.
If they have to turn patients away, that means they're over-reliant on computers.
Okay. So 7 hospitals in Australia are feeling the same effects, struck on Monday. Hospitals in Gippsland and Southwest Victoria said they were rescheduling some patient services as they responded to a cyber health incident. Yeah, a hacker stole our stuff. All right. The cyber incident, which was uncovered Monday, has blocked access to several systems by the infiltration of ransomware, including financial management. Hospitals have isolated and disconnected a number of systems to quarantine the infection. So they're concerned they're not getting paid. Am I hearing that right? Somebody in the comment here says, oh, the scan is just to make sure to bill the right person.
Yeah, either getting paid or collecting or billing from the patient. Because they trap everybody into some form or another. You know, I mean, no matter who you are, there's at least one point of vulnerability. I don't know if I should give it away on the air or not, but when you're sending your claims in, okay, there's one point between when you send it out and Medicare receives it.
Oh, that's
there.
That's the financial office. We are aware of that.
yeah. That's the financial office.
Yeah.
And if you know right where to hit, and I don't want to go too much into detail because I don't want to aid and abet here, but if you know right where to go, that's the universal vulnerable point right there.
And that's what sounds like was hit here is, you know, it took down things, including our financials part. It's interesting. So there's way too much reliance overall. We need to go back and be retrained on how to do stuff without being reliant on the computers. Computers are a good tool, but when we start relying on them, in fact, I forgot to pull it up, but there is actually a story by the great Isaac Asimov, and it was called "The Feeling of Power." And I would highly recommend anybody go and look this up and read it. It is a short story that he wrote, and you can grab that and read that for free online. I will go ahead and put a link there in the comments. So this one is actually a short story that I read. So, of course, I can never pronounce this gentleman's name. Is it Asimov, I think? I don't know. Whatever it is. Isaac A. All right.
Asimov. Isaac Asimov.
Asimov.
Isaac Asimov.
Asimov. Okay, we'll go with that.
Hmm.
So anyway, he did fabulous things like iRobot was based on his. So many cool things which are impacted in our modern science fiction is by him. And this one here is talking about this futuristic world where the people lost the ability to do simple arithmetic. And in losing the ability to do simple arithmetic, one guy figures out how to do it. And then there's the split. Half of them think, wow, you're a genius. The other half are like, why are you wasting your time? The calculator's doing this. Till there's this period of time when the calculators and computers go down and he's the only guy that's actually able to do anything. So you can read this for free online. You can follow that link. It's absolutely worth the read. I actually read this in high school, I think it was high school, and it stuck with me all this time. It's just such a fabulous, fabulous story. But it brings us to this point where we are so over-reliant, even airline pilots are concerned. So from the New York Times, this article's back in March. So some pilots are concerned that there's so much automation that as many as 60% of modern plane crashes are because the computer systems foul up and the pilots do not know how to manually control the plane.
Hmm.
And so yeah, go ahead.
Didn't that have a lot to do with these Air Max?
Yeah.
The
So
Boeing. That's
now that was slightly more complicated in that there were a few things that went wrong in that. So let's see, is it 737 Max? I
yeah.
think
Third. Yeah.
Boeing 737 Max jets. So one of the problems is that they kept on doing over-the-air updates, and the over-the-air updates would actually change some of the software. So that was one of the factors, that the pilots trained on the plane and then had a different experience when it came to fly it after an update. So that was one factor. The second factor is there was a safety package, but it was an add-on. You would have to buy the extra safety package to make your plane safer. And the two crashes that had occurred had not purchased that extra add-on. The third thing is that all of these computerized systems had to have FAA approval, but Boeing was given the ability to mark their own certifications. And so they didn't actually have to go to any external source for their approvals. So, and then of course, the fourth thing is that there were some competent pilots who tried to take control, but the system would not relinquish control to the manual override on the pilot. And so there were a lot of factors that went wrong with those planes when it all kind of everything came out. And so ultimately, though, and actually I saw a fascinating documentary on this topic recently, where it covered this pilot who actually was another 737 about 10 years ago. He managed to save everybody on his plane because he had so much flight experience in military and combat environments that he knew exactly how to take control of the plane. They actually had to shut the plane off 3 times midair for him to overtake the computer. And every time the computer would come back on, it would force the plane back into a downward spin. He managed to get the plane on and off and on and off, got it low enough that he crashed into the ground without actually without actually killing anybody. A lot of people were seriously permanently injured, but it was the same type of issue. And he stopped flying because it's like we're putting too much reliance on these. And the pilots coming out of flight school now, they know how to run the systems, but they cannot actually manually take over an airplane anymore. And that's a big concern that a lot of pilots are having right now. And it's interesting to see what's going on. So it's just another case. And we're seeing this in nearly every industry is getting so overrun that the day-to-day operations are being handed off to other devices. So we're handing off the computers. We're handing off in medicine. We're handing off in airlines. We're handing off in education. We're handing off control to all of these environments. So, yeah, and that's kind of a problematic thing. So what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, we're handing off driving vehicles. I mean, just like with the plane going down. What if you have a big 18-wheeler rolling down the highway, at 70 miles an hour? How many tons are they? And the computer, has a flake out, what's going to happen? A lot of
Yeah.
people going to get hurt and something like that. And then there are people going to forget how to drive. Their self-driving car is driving them. The computer shuts off. Are they going to be able to take control of the car manually?
Yeah, probably not. And that's a huge issue, So, I don't know.
I mean, can we go forward in time so that we can use advanced tools without losing the knowledge we had before we had those advanced tools? And it seems like whenever a new tool comes out, we become so dependent on it that we forget, like spell checkers in our computers. Did you ever see a handwritten letter? I mean, I've seen some handwritten documents written by very educated people with simple spelling mistakes.
Yeah, that would
because
be
there's
me.
no spell checker. That's me too.
Yeah, but I mean, in my defense, I could not spell even before spell checkers were a thing. So
Right. And doctors write so sloppy, no one can read their writing anyway. That's always been the case.
So the computers helped in some cases, but yeah, I mean, we the point of the story is we want to keep learning how to do our craft without being over reliant on computers and technology. Know how to do stuff manually when you can, because it's important. That's why when I'm doing writing and formatting, there are some tools coming up on the market that will allegedly format your books for you, but they usually don't have the quality that you can if you dedicate the time to learning how to do it yourself and you pay meticulous attention to it. But we get the same thing there. If a computer's treating your medical needs, it's not nearly as good as a competent physician. So
right now they have in the medical field, it's actually a billable code now where you can have what they call telemedicine, where a patient logs onto your website using a computer, and they interact with your website, and they're able to ask basic medical questions and get basic medical answers, and all this is logged by the system. And then at the end of the month, your system generates a bill to whoever insurance company. It's not as much as a regular office visit, but doctors can actually bill now for telemedicine services.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts? We covered it in the news last week, but what's your thoughts on Amazon's new Amazon Care? Which is basically they're piloting it with their employees in Seattle. The idea is it's basically like Alexa for healthcare stuff. You just do all of your medical stuff right through your phone, talking to your phone and clicking the I feel like this, What's your thoughts on those?
It's a very slippery slope, and it can be very dangerous, because indigestion and certain types of heart attacks can be so similar from the patient's perspective that if you describe your symptoms to an Alexa-like device and you don't have a trained doctor, nurse practitioner, somebody medical to physically see you in some way, it could mistake, a serious heart attack for indigestion, and they could tell you to, take a couple of Tums when you need to be in a hospital.
Yeah. And I think that the thing will allow you to schedule a doctor's visit or something too, but I don't know. And there is a thing that's like, if it's serious, call 911, a button for your phone.
Right. But a lot of people don't know it's serious.
My biggest concern is that I don't want to be giving that type of stuff to Amazon. That's the last company I want to be giving that stuff to. It's bad enough that they know the things that I somewhat buy, Let's see. Ash and Snap jumped on. Hello, Mr. Banana Man. Jimmy Muller's on. Hello there. Let's see. Yeah, nobody knows what was implanted in their copy. Yep. I think it'd be fun if you're found not to have good enough backups and security when you're attacked by ransomware. Yeah, if you are attacked by ransomware and you do not have enough stuff, you should be fined. Especially in these cases like these hospitals. It was like the same thing with a school district, right? So that school district gets, They get hit with the ransomware and they fire their IT guy, and their IT guy is suing them back for back pay and all that kind of stuff because he literally went to the school. He has proof, and it's like, we have to do this because of this. And they rejected his claim. Cost too much. Do the backup on the servers we already have. Ransomware hit, they lost that and all the backups because they were all local. Then they tried to fire him for incompetence. He's like, no, this is exactly what I told you we had to do to mitigate this exact attack. He's going to win. And hopefully the school district administrators hopefully they lose their jobs over it because they cost the stuff too much. But yeah, if the hospital is now causing a serious public health crisis by not being able to treat people because they didn't have a backup plan, yes, they should be fined. I'm sorry, we're going to take away your yacht, Mr. CEO of the hospital. You should focus more on the security and the treatment of patients rather than your bottom line. And maybe that's why we should completely ban for-profit medicine. I don't know. What's your thought on that?
Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea, if or at least to give patients the option, to go to a not-for-profit hospital. Because the profit motive, a lot of times in an ideal world, if human nature weren't human nature, for profit wouldn't necessarily matter, but human nature being what it is, it does. Just like with health insurance companies, a doctor could request a test that a patient really needs, but if it costs a whole lot, they're going to deny it. They're going to try and get away with it. And I've seen that so many times, from both ends of the coin, as a patient, as the father of a patient, and as a doctor myself. I got into this one argument. I ordered an MRI on a patient. Well, I get a call back from the insurance company. Can I do a CAT scan instead? I'm like, CAT scan isn't the proper test for this. I need an MRI. Well, I got into it back and forth with whoever this person was. Finally, I asked to speak to the medical director. Finally got on with the medical director. He's like, oh, can't you do a CAT scan? It's so much cheaper. I said, sir, it's not the right test. But he kept bugging me. I said, okay, let me make a deal with you. I'll do the CAT scan if you make me a promise, and I'm recording this conversation to hold you to it, that if the CAT scan isn't good enough, you will approve the MRI. He said, deal. Okay? The next day, I get the radiology report back. So I called the on the phone. I said, could I speak to your medical director? They put me through to the medical director. I said, hi, remember me? I'm, Dr. So-and-so. He spoke yesterday. He says, yeah. I said, well, I have a letter here from the radiologist that I'm faxing you a copy of. Let me read it to you over the phone. Dear Dr. So-and-so, our precautionary diagnosis based on the CAT scan is so-and-so. But we must tell you that a CAT scan is not the appropriate test for this condition. We recommend that you confirm the diagnosis with the appropriate test of an MRI. I said, we had a deal. You made a promise. Abide by it. I want my approval. So he gave me my approval. Yeah. But why did I have to go through that?
Yeah, you are the doctor. You should be the one that orders what you need. But, I mean, you do, though, understand that there are doctors that try and take advantage of the system. But maybe this is why we shouldn't be having the healthcare industry, the health insurance people in the middle of all this. The reason why medical costs are so high is because of the way our healthcare system is run anyway. Not that I have any particular solutions to that right this second, but...
It's a complicated mess, and it's one that I'm hoping somebody can fix, but so far I haven't seen too much from anybody that they fully grasp it. So I don't know what's going to be. Well, that's why I'm spending more and more time in the computer field and less time seeing patients.
Yeah.
Because it's this whole mess that's responsible for my migrating away from it.
So there's a little bit of a back and forth here regarding and I've seen some of these. There's the little robots that'll come in and like the doctor's kind of sitting in a room somewhere interfacing through the robot. Thoughts?
I've seen that happen too. I've seen, believe it or not, scary as it sounds, ICU rooms in hospitals where they have the ICU interventionalist, as they call them, coming on a TV screen and interacting with the patient via, closed circuit television.
Yeah, it's
I'm
about
like,
the time I
someone's
might
sick
break
enough.
the computer screen.
Yeah, it's like someone's sick
Boom.
enough to be in
Yep.
ICU, and
Come
you're
on in.
you're interacting with them via a computer screen.
Yep.
Is this madness?
It is. It is. Sometimes it's trying to show how cute and up with the times you are, but you're losing your medicine. So Gnostic says he'd leave the hospital if one of those got into the room. Yep. Identifying the patient by something else like name and date of birth. There you go. Yeah, so Larry Johnson, I think the scan is more to make sure they charge the patient right. Yeah, name and
Yeah,
date of
every
birth
time you
is all
go
the
into a
cops need.
hospital, every time you go into the hospital, they say name and date of birth, name and date of birth. A couple of times I had people ask me who the president of the United States was. I guess they were trying to see, if I had Alzheimer's or not.
Yeah,
One
probably.
time I,
Just tell them
one time
Jimmy
I was thinking of,
Carter.
yeah, I was actually thinking of telling him Ronald Reagan, but
Oh boy. The bond credit rating of most states, cities, counties, and special districts and municipalities. Credit rating services, Moody's Standards, Standard & Poor's are downgrading all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Man, I've already read some of these comments. Let's see. ConnectWise is ruining the control product. ConnectWise, is that a medical thing or is that something else?
yeah, I'm getting email. I get emails from them every day. I just delete them.
Is that they're like trying to get you to buy into their system? Subscribe to our stuff
Mm-hmm.
here. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm like, no, thanks.
Gnostic's brother died 8 years ago due to negligence of doctors. We are sorry to hear that, Gnostic.
I get so many garbage emails from all these places. I just delete.
Oh, you should see some of the emails you get running a YouTube channel. Oh, boy.
Mm, yeah. Fortunately, I'm so little, I don't get that many, but I get a few.
Yeah, I get all sorts of fun things. Come review our new product and a lot of other fun things I'm not going to mention here live.
Mm-hmm.
Redundancy. Correct. Yes, the computer should be a redundancy, not a final thing.
Mm-hmm.
Updating firmware. Connect AC. Do not remove the battery. Pet the kitty. Hi. How are you? Oh. You're pulling my headphones, kitty. You're pulling my headphones. Here. Sit on the desk. Have the cat pad. There you go. Alright. Your plane needs to reboot for updates. Please choose when would be most convenient time to do so. How about do it right now while we're in the death spiral into the Atlantic? Military avionics, nothing like civilian, totally different. Yes, while they are totally different, learning on an avionics, military avionics systems will give you a tremendous amount of experience to know how to run the civilian ones. And we're talking about a guy who was a military pilot and a 20-year veteran airline pilot as well. So, in fact, what he ended up having to do was fly the plane like it was a military plane. That's how he took it back over.
It's good he knew how to do that.
Yeah.
I have no idea where I'm going.
Sometimes you just need seat of your pants flying.
Yeah. Okay. Electric cars have no physical connections to the steering rack. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, the thing goes. If you've ever had the power in your car go out when you're driving, all of a sudden the power steering goes and you got to manually drive it like a tank. You do not want that happening in a luxury car. You lose all ability. Yeah. Neo-Luddites rise up. Hey, man, I'm a Neo-Luddite. Why not? Uh, car apparently has drive-by-wire steering. That's not good. Amish doctors don't have these problems. Actually, some of the Amish people actually run Linux. I've seen some Amish business offices. They actually run, I think they run Sparky Linux is the one I was seeing. It was funny because he went in and lit a lantern and then booted on his computer. What?
Hmm.
Oh, boy. So art to medicine. Very difficult to replace a doctor or nurse's experience. Yeah. Food is medicine. There you go. Hello, Anarita. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Yes, actually. I just heard that quote somewhere else this week as well. I think maybe it's the world's trying to tell me something.
Hmm.
Oh boy. The world is speaking to me. Profit most definitely skews medical practices. Yes. Doesn't profit skew about everything these days? So, is it Barnes Hospital? Or have you heard of them? Apparently they got a C- rating on an NIH ranking, but talk themselves up on their commercials. Doesn't everybody do that?
Hmm.
I don't know. Apparently we haven't heard of it.
They can say whatever they want sometimes.
Yeah. I have to wait 12 months for a CT scan while in pain after 2 surgeries. Yeah, that's the medical system they want to put here.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody with an answer yet, but I've heard a lot of people without the answer, and that's one of them.
Yeah. I wonder if Mr. Sanders, he went right into the front of the line. He didn't have to wait, you know.
Yeah, but if it were you or me, we would have waited.
Yeah. The Penguin Revolution is here. Greetings, Penguin. How's it going there? Witch doctors have deals to subscribe a certain drug and most brand name not generic. Yeah. Witch doctors or witch doctors? I mean, there's a difference.
Yeah, I don't know if witch doctors actually prescribe drugs.
They just do a little voodoo ritual dances.
Yeah. I know it is an issue. A lot of times these reps come to the offices and they could be pretty convincing sometimes.
Yeah.
They want you to prescribe the latest and greatest.
Yeah, I mean,
And they'll offer you.
I'm sure you've seen some of the shady science behind Lipitor and things like that, and how they push that to be the #1 drug in the country. That's some shady stuff.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten to the bottom of the comments. Canadian bills are also plastic. I think we follow Australia on that. Money equals moolah, by the way. Hey, we've hit the bottom of the comments. All right. Anything else you want to tell everybody for now?
Well, I think we're caught up.
Okay. I want to see if I can find something here. I just thought of an old joke that I had. Let's see if I can find it online. We can end with some humor stuff. Before we go, though, I will be streaming on my other channel. Hey, Kitty, would you please stop typing on my keyboard for me? My kitty is typing on the keyboard. He's like, dude, feed me my stuff. All right.
Yeah, you see the tail sticking up.
Yep. So I will be streaming on my other channel tonight. We'll be talking about People of the eBook, are digital Bibles as good as paper Bibles. We're going to be talking about that on my other channel here at 9 o'clock, which is 1 hour from now. Let's go ahead and feed the beast, and then we will end with some good medical jokes. just for the fun. So if you want to find some medical jokes yourself, Brian, and pull those up, you can find some, and we'll feed the kitty, and then we'll have a few medical jokes, and we'll get out of here. Oh, boy. Come on. There's nothing in my hand. It's all in here at the bag. It's all in the bag. You're going to have to stick your paw in there or do something cute. Do something cute, kitty. Yeah, we got the paw.
What key is that? Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, boy, kitty. He's the other one.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Are they finger licking good? That's all you get today. You might get some on the other stream. You just get, I know you feel cheated. You're only getting 2, not 3, but all right. All right, kitty. All right, are we ready for some fun medical humor to end the night?
I guess so.
Come here, kitty. There, let's shut down so I can actually use my stuff there. Thank you, kitty. All right, so here is my list of things you do not want to hear during surgery. Better save that. We'll need it for the autopsy.
Ooh.
Someone call the janitor. Tell him to bring a mop.
Oh, no.
Wait a minute. If that's his spleen, what's that? Hand me that that thingy. Whoops! Has anyone ever survived 500 milliliters of this before? Oh, rats. There go the lights again. You know, there's big money in kidneys. Heck, this guy's got 2 of them. Stand back, everyone. I lost my contact.
Oh, no.
All right. Could you stop that thing from beeping? It's throwing off my concentration. What's this thingy doing in here? All right. Hey, that's cool. Now you can make his leg twitch. Well, folks, this will be an experiment for us all.
I had to respond.
Daryl Schmerl, the floor is pretty clean, right? Anyone see where I left that scalpel? Okay, take a picture of this angle. This is truly a freak of nature.
Oh, no.
Nurse, did this patient sign the organ donation card? Oh boy. Everyone, she's gonna blow. Everyone take cover. Rats, page 47 and the manual's missing. What do you mean he wasn't in here for a sex change? All right, now I'll remove the subject's brain and place it in the body of the ape.
Oh, boy.
How's this one? Accept this sacrifice, O great Lord of Darkness.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. I thought we started with 4 clamps. This is what happens when cousins marry. Do you think we can sew this back on? Can you put on Dr. Kevorkian's new CD? I didn't know he had a CD. Does he have a CD?
Not that I know of.
Oh, I learned that when I studied to be a vet. What does the AMA know? I think I can still do it. Oh, boy.
I'm down.
Does tab A go into slot C or slot F? Well, this just proves aliens have taken over our bodies. Oh boy, this one's bad. He looks like my ex-wife's attorney. That one who got her the house and the car and the money. He even got her.
Oh boy.
Hmm. So that's what a girl looks like. Hmm.
Wow.
Back a minute. Got to put more money in the meter. Uh,
Yes.
tilt that TV this way. I can't see the game.
Uh,
Uh, I think my Alzheimer's is getting, you know.
That would be fun.
Clear. All right, that's our last one. All right, you have any fun medical jokes?
Did I take my Prevagen today? I don't remember. Let's see. I got one. A patient goes to their podiatrist, and the podiatrist tells him, "You have ingrown toe nails, hammer toes, and shingles. I need to send you to a roofing contractor."
Nice.
That's all I got off the top of my head.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, so it says page 47 is shareware. That's right. Yeah.
Mm.
Let's see.
I don't need page 47. I'll wing it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. It looks like this is a good time to jump off. So thanks for coming along. Thanks everyone for hanging out. And again, I'll be on my other channel here in about 1 hour. So you can swing on over there if you want to do that. And we will catch you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Give it a second to jump off here. It's this like 30-second delay we got to fight.
Mm.
There it is.
Yeah.